What is up, everybody? It's your boy, James Eeks, and today we are back with a brand new series here. It's going to be a lot of fun, and this series is going to be where me and a guest slowly build a team and, make it better and better. We find out its weaknesses, its strengths, and all that. So this will be a really cool way to show you guys how to really perfect your teams and flesh them out, because the first time you ever build a team, it is not going to be perfect. You're going to have to make changes and changes and changes on top of it to make it that much better, So with this series, we are aiming to have some fun and, of course, like I just said, educate you guys. So without further ado, let's introduce today's guest. Today's guest is Alca, the one and only Gyarados Raichu master himself. Alca, say hello to the people.
Hey guys, what's up?
Cool. Yeah, so guys, if you guys don't know Alca, I'm going to leave his Twitter and all that great stuff in the description. But he has hit rank 1 on the ladder in Sword and Shield multiple times, and I think all but once it was all with Gyarados Raichu teams.
Yeah, twice actually. Yeah.
Twice.
Three times with Raichu Gyarados. So it's yeah.
He's that much of a master. So Alca, how about you give the viewers a little introduction? How about how long you've been playing VGC and anything else fun you want them to know?
Yeah, I'm actually a pretty new player. So this is my first season that I really competed and tried to try hard. So yeah, I'm a newbie to be fair, but I'm doing okay, I guess. So yeah, like you said, Raichu and Gyarados is like my claim to fame, and that's my main gimmick. And yeah, it has a soft spot in my heart definitely. So it's a very fun core to use. That's about it.
Well, cool. How long have you been playing, I guess, competitive Pokemon? Not just VGC.
Oh, yeah,
Did you play
yeah.
singles and stuff?
Yeah, I've been singles for many years, since 2014, I think. So it's been a few years now. So,
cool.
I've been around town.
Sweet. And if you guys didn't know, Alca is from the Netherlands, correct?
Norway.
God damn it. We gotta leave this in. Yeah, he is from Norway, so it's really cool that we get to do a series where, this little American gets to do something with someone from Europe. Yeah. It's really cool. The global Pokemon presence.
Definitely, man.
But yeah, so guys, like I said, today we are going to be, well, this whole series, not just today, we're going to be working on Gyarados Raichu. That is, just like we talked about, Alca's bread and butter. And I think here in Season 3, Gyarados and Raichu have got a lot more kind of threats to deal with. So we're going to be going into all that. But so
Absolutely.
Pretty much the stuff that Raichu and Gyarados have been using in Season 2 and Season 1 just aren't going to be working quite as well. So we're going to have to make a lot of make a lot of changes. Do you have anything to say about that, Alca?
Yeah, there's so much that stops Gyarados better now than before. Intimidate is a big one from Incineroar and stuff. So the team definitely needs some improvements and some new tactics to deal with those threats. Definitely.
Absolutely, well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we're going to start with Gyarados Raichu. I've got that in the builder, as you guys can see.
That makes sense.
So, guys, the first thing that I kind of want to go over here with Alca is, I think it'd be a good idea if we went over to Pikalytics. So, guys, if you don't know Pikalytics, I'll leave the website in the description. But what it is it pretty much takes all the usage statistics from Pokemon Showdown and then puts them on here. So, as you guys can see, Togekiss, #1 Pokemon, no surprise there. And it pretty much just shows you what are the most popular Pokemon. Look how low Gyarados is. We gotta raise this. We gotta raise this shit.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
But yeah, I'd say, you get eventually down to Liepard, Silvally, Barraskewda.
That relevant.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, we will start with Pokemon Gyarados is strong versus. Of course, we want to keep it as lots of popular Pokemon that is strong again. So,
right.
I think we gotta see Togekiss, and I would say Gyarados Raichu is pretty neutral against Togekiss.
Yeah, definitely pretty neutral.
Yeah, so I wouldn't leave that in the strong, and I wouldn't put that in the weak, for example.
Right.
So I would say Togekiss is pretty neutral, and then honestly, Incineroar, I would say is probably neutral as well. What do you think?
No, I think it's neutral because, it has both weaknesses and strengths against Gyarados Raichu. Intimidate is a huge blow to Gyarados because it weakens so much. But it has a type disadvantage, so it kind of evens out in 1v1 situation, of course. But I think overall it's neutral to bad, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think that because Incineroar has Fake Out, of course it's slower than Raichu, it just kind of forces you to have to Fake Out turn
Very
one.
true. Very true. Very true.
Yeah, when sometimes you feel like you don't want to. So I'd say Incineroar is neutral. But then we've got number 3, Excadrill. I am going to say that I think Gyarados Raichu is, I would say it's strong versus Excadrill. Excadrill maybe, it may be super effective against Raichu, but I mean, that doesn't really matter, especially when you have a focus sash and stuff like that.
Yeah, the sash doesn't matter. And yeah, I would definitely say it's a good one.
All right, so that's good. So as we can see, the top 3 Pokemon in the whole game, Gyarados, Raichu, are neutral against 2, and we would say strong against 1. So that's a good sign. But then we've got Rotom, Wash. And while we do have Lightning Rod, of course, on Raichu, and Gyarados has Power Whip, I would honestly still say the matchup's either neutral or bad. How about Alca? You are the master. Tell me how you think Rotom Wash is.
Yeah, because it's not good. That would be like super. That would be an overstatement. But I don't think it's too bad either because you have, like you said, Power Whip and also the Lightning Rod, so it helps. Yeah, Gyarados is 4 times weak to Electric, of course, so it's it can be very scary if you don't have the Lightning Rod support. But I think it's neutral, like you said.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like, this is just some speculation, but I feel like Rotoms could start going back to like bulky Will-O-Wisp ones. I think everyone's just pigeonholing.
That would be bad for Gyarados.
Yeah, that would be really bad. So let's leave Rotom in neutral. Do you agree with that?
I think it's neutral. Yeah,
okay.
100%.
Cool. And then Dragapult. Oops, I got rid of my notes here.
Yeah.
Dragapult. So I think Gyara Raichu is probably, I would argue, weak to Dragapult. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. It's a bad one, definitely.
Okay, because like, go on.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, you never know when the stupid Dragapult's gonna be holding like Thunderbolt, and that's always really annoying.
Yeah, very true.
And then even without that, it's so fast. And you don't have a super effective attack against it, so it's...
No, right. Some people run Crunch for that reason, or Outrage even, which is like fine, but then you lose out on like other good moves. So I don't know. It's probably bad. Yeah, I think it's bad because you can't really hit it for good damage most of the time.
Yeah.
As long as you don't run like a tech move.
And I also think it's immune to your own Intimidate, which we're probably going to be ending up throwing on an Intimidate mod to help defend our Gyarados. It's immune to that. It's super fast, so it even outspeeds Raichu. One reason Raichu's so good is it's faster than a lot of stuff, but Dragapult is not. So I would say Dragapult's a threat.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then next we've got Venusaur, the new Season 3 dude.
Yeah.
I was going to say that I think Gyarados Raichu is probably good against Venusaur because you have Fake Out.
I think so too.
You are faster with both of them if you are Jolly Gyarados. And then you hit it for super effective with Max Airstream. You can nuzzle it. You can Fake it out. So I think we're actually pretty strong against Venusaur.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, the Fake Out is just so good against Venusaur because you can like cover it. Most Venusaur don't run Protect, so you can like cover a lot of options with Fake Out. And even if they're Dynamax, you can still take a hit from Venusaur easily from Gyarados, and you can dish out massive damage in return with Max Airstream. So I think it's I think it's good.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you like force Venusaur to Dynamax, like it's almost like a relief. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna get sleep powder.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so cool.
That is like really good against Venusaur.
So here is the big one. Now, Pikalytics, maybe Conkeldurr is only 23%, but if you guys have been watching my regionals wrap-ups, you'll know that Conkeldurr shows up at regionals by the top players very commonly. And so I think this is very, very great for Gyarados Raichu. I think it's very obvious that they are good against Conkeldurr.
It is, yeah, definitely. Like, Conkeldurr can run Thunder Punch. Then again, it's not like... Thunder Punch doesn't even KO most of the time if you run some bulk. And like it's so slow anyway, so most of the time it will just kill in one hit. So I think it's a good one.
Yep, I agree. And if he's running Thunder Punch, it's of course single target, so we can defend ourselves with the Lightning Rod.
Yeah, of course.
So I honestly think that this weakness right here, well, this strength right here of being good against Conkeldurr is one of the best parts about Raichu Gyarados as a core.
Definitely.
But then let's go down, and next, right after Conkeldurr, is Tyranitar. Now, of course, we are weak to Tyranitar by rock, but we are also strong, with the water attack. But I would not say that Gyarados is strong against Tyranitar. It's good. I would put it in the neutral. What? How about you elaborate on Tyranitar? I think Tyranitar is such a good
I would
Pokemon.
actually put it in. Yeah, I think it's so good, and I would actually say bad because like even if you like max Geyser or Tyranitar, it's just gonna activate its weakness policy and it's just gonna kill you in return because it's so much stronger than you and more bulky than you. So I would actually say bad in that one. It's a really scary matchup.
To be honest, I was thinking of saying bad. I wanted to hear your opinion first. So I'm glad that you agree. I think Tyranitar, I agree. He's so bulky. You're going to have to get like +2 attack probably before you're killing it with Max Geyser.
Yeah, definitely. It's super bulky. Like, I would say it's a bad play for sure.
Yeah. And then it's normally even defended by like Gastrodon, and it creates all these reads and all this stuff. Right. So, cool. So Gyarados is looking pretty solid so far. And then we've got Milotic. So obviously we do have access to Power Whip potentially, but Milotic's just so bulky and it can Scald burn us.
Oh yeah, right.
I would probably say neutral, maybe even strong. How about you talk about Milotic, Alca?
Yeah, I mean it's like you said, we have the Power Whip for the type advantage, but at the same time it's very bulky and it's a whole coil thing. You can set up like massive defense too. And so I think it goes both ways in a lot of matchups. It can be good, can be bad, depending on the situation. So I would say neutral.
Okay. I guess for summer, I was like kind of just thinking about Gyarados, but I think with Raichu, I would say it's pretty good. I would probably still call it.
With Raichu is good.
Okay. How about I think we should put it in the what we're strong against personally. Because while it can be annoying, Raichu's going to hit it super effectively. Gyarados can also hit it super effectively.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to deal with if you can actually reach it. So, like, if you let it set up a couple of coils, it's super hard to deal with. So I think I don't know. I guess that counts for every, like... I mean, that's the general rule. So with every mon, if you let it set up 2 coils, it's super dangerous. So I guess
but I mean, if Milotic's setting up, that probably means Gyarados is setting up too. So it's kind of a trade-off.
Yeah, that's just true. Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, I'm fine with good. I'm fine.
Okay, cool. And then we've got Whimsicott. I would say, what do you? Yeah, let me hear your thoughts. I'm leaning almost towards weak, just because Tailwind.
Actually, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm more on the good side actually.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, so I guess let me tell.
I mean,
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
So, I think that Whimsicott. I personally think Whimsicott should have Protect. So that just makes it that much better against Fake Out. And then
I agree.
And then while, let's say you max Airstream turn 1 while he protects. Okay. So now Gyarados is at +1 and its partner, probably Raichu or maybe something else. But Whimsicott can also tail in that next turn, and then its partner is going to be guaranteed faster than you, and then you max Airstream again, and then you're neutral. So it's like just at the presence of existing, Whimsicott just wasted like 2 turns of your Dynamax's speed advantage. And obviously Whimsicott isn't Dynamaxing. So while it is a support, it does do a lot of work. And then that's the brunt of it. I mean, I'm not going to say like, Whimsicott has charm and all this stuff, but that's the brunt of it. But how about you tell me?
Yeah, no, because I see your point and I agree. Like, it's really bad if they actually, like, if you bet it all on Fake Outing and next day streaming Whimsicott and then Protect is really bad, obviously. So it's, yeah, I mean, that's totally bad. But I think, like, the pressure Raichu and Gyarados puts against Whimsicott is just so good because it scares them a lot and they can't really go for the play they want comfortably. And they like force to protect, and you can definitely abuse that, I think.
That's a really good point. Sorry, continue.
No, because like if you play against like high tier players, like most of the time they won't let you take out their Whimsicott, right?
Yeah.
So you can like predict that they will protect or switch out and focus down the other Pokemon.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think that Raichu can kind of like mediate the Tailwind with Nuzzle help, so I think that's pretty cool too. Okay.
That's a neutral then.
Yeah, I think Whimsicott's just so versatile that it's almost hard to be good against Whimsicott, like any Pokemon.
Yeah.
Or
that's a fair point.
Yeah. Okay. But then we've got Rhyperior. So now I think Rhyperior, I hate Rhyperior, everyone knows that. But
everyone
yeah, Rhyperior is very similar to Tyranitar, not only in being a bulky rock type, but it's like while we can hit it super effectively, it's just if
They hit you harder, yeah.
Yeah, when you're thinking Rhyperior, you almost assume it's only a problem really under Trick Room. So I guess Alca, how about you tell me about your experience between Rhyperior and Tyranitar, and if you think it's strong, weak, or neutral.
Yeah, I will, because Rhyperior is actually a bit stronger than Tyranitar, like the base stat. If you don't invest both in Gyarados, it actually outgoes your Dynamax with Max Rockfall, which is really bad, obviously. And with Weakness Policy, it definitely kills your Gyarados. So I would say it's really bad, actually, because it's in the same boat as Tyranitar, just stronger and more dangerous to Gyarados, because it's like, so bulky, especially with Solid Rock and stuff. And while you can hit it hard 4 times a week, it's I don't know, it's just so bulky that you're never going to auto it, and it's just going to kill you back. So that's, yeah, I think it's bad.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's bad as well. And another thing is, in the same vein as Tyranitar, Rhyperior teams do sometimes have Gastrodons, and just Gastrodon's very annoying.
Gastrodon is really annoying, yeah.
So, okay, so far the list does not look too bad. Of course, like, if Gyarados Raichu was good against everything, you wouldn't need 6 fucking Pokemon on your team. So, granted, this looks like a pretty good list so far.
It's not terrible, no.
Cool. Well, let's move on to Grimmsnarl. So Grimmsnarl is a similar support Pokemon to Whimsicott. And so one thing that I really hate about Grimmsnarl is Thunder Wave, but our boy Raichu helps us out a lot against that. And we are a faster, we're a faster fake out, which is cool. But then I guess something to talk about is screens. So Alca, how about you tell us about your famous Raichu and how good it is against Grimmsnarl?
Yeah, because like my old Raichu, I always ran Brick Break on it, so it could break the screens of Grimmsnarl. And it was like an ultimate counter to Grimmsnarl, because not only could you break the screens, but you can also like redirect the Thunder Waves. So Grimmsnarl was left pretty much useless in a lot of situations with the Raichu on the field. So if you run Brick Break on Raichu, I would say it's definitely good. And even without Brick Break, I would say it's a good matchup.
Okay, yeah, I'm willing to put it into the strong category. Of course, you know, Prankster support can always be annoying, but I think just like on paper, I think that Raichu Gyarados is pretty good against.
On paper, it should be pretty good, but like you said, it's always hard to know. But I would say it's more good than neutral.
Cool. Yeah, I'll throw Grimmsnarl on there. And then we already kind of talked about Rotom Wash, and we put it into neutral. And then here's Rotom Mow.
Isn't Gyarados before Rotom?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
I'm a dum-dum. Okay. All right, so next under Grimmsnarl, we've got Duraludon. And so a very obvious thing about Duraludon is Stalwart, the fact that it could potentially Max Lightning past your Raichu. And Gyarados doesn't hit it super effectively unless we're using like Max Quake, which...
Like it doesn't need it neutral.
Yeah.
Like the most popular set. It's just terrible against Duraludon.
Yeah,
horrible.
I think it's quite obvious we're both going to say that we are weak to Duraludon.
Yeah.
Especially because I kind of think while Gyarados does have really strong coverage moves, you know, Power Whip, Crunch, Stone Edge, I just think that the fact that it resists both of your stabs, I kind of think Gyarados relies on like huge stab hits to really do the damage.
It does. Like I actually used to, on my old set, I ran AV Gyarados. And with a set like designed specifically for Duraludon with Earthquake, so we could actually like 1v1 Duraludon, which was super cool, but like super situational and it wasn't a super good solution anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's possible if you're super creative and put a lot of effort into it, but it's probably not worth it. And yeah, it's a really bad matchup.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree. So I'm glad we are on the same page there. And then next, at 10% usage, which is still relatively high, we got to watch out for that, is Rotom Mow. So obviously, guys, Rotom Mow and Rotom Wash are a bit different, grass versus water. So of course, they both have potential Will-O-Wisp, they both have the electric move. But honestly, I think that you're definitely better against Rotom Mow because of the fact that it takes the max airstream for neutral.
Right.
I don't know if that pushes us into a strong matchup. I don't think I'd say. I'd say it's still neutral.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's also the Will-O-Wisp is so annoying as well. Like the Will-O-Wisp and the Ally Switch and stuff is just super annoying.
Yeah, Rotom Mow is the one that usually runs Ally Switch and maybe even Will-O-Wisp a little more commonly than Rotom Wash at this very moment.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, cool. So Rotomo is pretty standard, so we don't have to go too much more over that, but we'll keep that in the neutral. And then next is Charizard. So Charizard is faster than Gyarados and also has access to max Airstream, but of course it really wants to get that G-Max Wildfire off in at least one of those 3 turns that it's going to Gigantamax, and you resist the fire. But the fire is, you know, like, if you're not in Assault Vest Raichu, you're probably going to die to the G-Max Wildfire, putting you to Sash, and then the Flames. Something to think about.
Even with Assault Vest, you just die.
Oh, even with it?
If it's solar power, you die.
In the sunny day, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if it's not solar power, I'm not sure, but I think you still die.
Yeah, you'd probably have to be pretty darn bulky, but...
Yeah, unless you mess everything in the first time.
But so, even with those points, I would say that Charizard's probably neutral.
I wouldn't say neutral. Like,
I was just going to say, even though, you know, Raichu and Gyarados are both, you know, on paper super effective against Charizard, the fast max Airstream, it's going to have support, whether it's Follow Me or Sunny Day. You know, just like maybe Charizard alone, we could say we're good against, but, you know, we kind of have to think about it with a partner. And I think Charizard, with its common partners that it usually has, you know, Whimsicott, a Fake Outer, a Follow Meer, I would say the matchup is neutral at that point.
Yeah, I want to point out that Gyarados can actually OHKO the D-Max Charizard, or G-Max, whatever, with a Life Orb, which I used to run before because it was like super useful for OHKOing Charizard. So you can do that if you're not in 10, of course. That's something you have the option to do, which I think is really, really strong.
Cool.
I would still say it's neutral because, like you said, it's like a bit both sides.
Yeah, I agree. And then next, right under Charizard, we've got Snorlax. And so I think I'm going to say that I would say the matchup is strong against Snorlax. You know, it's very easy to not let him get up a Belly Drum. And then I think, like, if we get up a Dragon Dance, for example, like, we're probably going to 2-hit KO Lax with, like, Max Geyser into Max Geyser in the Rain or something like that. What would you say, Alca?
I would say, like, against Snorlax alone, it's very strong. But with Indeedee as well on the side, I think it's a bit more tricky because Indeedee, like, it not only does it redirect your attacks, but it also makes your Fake Out useless. So it's I think it can be hard if you just let it set up, and because Indeedee can be very, very bulky as well. But I would say it's good, but unless Indeedee matchup can be tricky. But I would still say it's good.
Okay, well, with how we've kind of been doing it, where we're thinking about the very common Pokemon, I think after that, I would leave Snorlax in the neutral, just kind of how we went about Charizard as well.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
Okay. And then, honestly, I have not seen very much Alolan Ninetales, but I think if we were to play against one, I would say it's either neutral or weak, just because its base speed is really fast. Freeze Dry is quad super effective against Gyarados, and then Aurora Veil is something that Gyarados and Raichu don't really want to deal with. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's probably neutral, to be fair, because even though it's very fast, like, just a Fake Out into it and Max Airstream just destroys it because it's so weak bulk-wise. Really, it is weak. But like you said, if it gets up Aurora Veil, and the Freeze Dry is annoying, of course. So I would say it's neutral, but I agree it's leaning on the bad side. Even though, I mean, it's not an impossible matchup by any means, because it's still really weak, and Gyarados is still strong.
Yeah, I would probably say that it is. I think, thinking about it more, I would say it's neutral, just because, like, the Freeze Dry is not going to kill a Dynamax Gyarados.
No, it doesn't do that much. Like, it does. I would just say around half right now.
Yeah.
Maybe even less, actually.
And then also with, like, the popularity of Lapras setting up Aurora Veil, people aren't really using Ninetales, and then that makes our option to run Brick Break that much better. So, yeah. Is Lapras on here? I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen it yet.
Yep.
So next is Dusclops, and then Dusclops and Torkoal, I think we should kind of pair them together, just as they are very commonly on Hard Trick Room stuff. Dusclops is on a lot of stuff by itself, but I would say on paper, Gyarados and Raichu, I think, are very weak against hard Trick Room, and then Dusclops
They
kind
are.
of facilitates that. So I would say, in general, it's weak to Dusclops. Would you be willing to agree to that?
Yeah, I would agree because this one is just so bulky and it's really hard to remove, and Torkoal's such a discount as well, so this makes it more annoying. But their attacks do less damage, so I think it's bad, 100%.
Yeah, I agree, especially because Raichu and Gyarados, unless you're running Taunt on Gyarados, you don't really have the like tools to
You can't
stop
stop-
Dusclops.
Yeah, you never want to lead Raichu Gyarados into a trick, so I would say it's bad.
Yeah, I'm willing to agree to that. And then I wouldn't put Torkoal as good against Gyarados, so I'm just going to leave it where it is. But I think Dusclops is...
Dusclops is bad.
Yeah.
Torkoal is like, I don't know, it's in there somewhere.
Torkoal's just like a mon on Trick Room. I don't think it really
Yeah,
deserves a
right.
slot in the video, but...
I agree.
Okay, but this is a big one that we need to talk about, is Gastrodon. So, Alca, how about you tell me your initial thoughts about Gastrodon?
Yeah, Gastron is like, I always hate it when I see it in the team preview because it's just so problematic, right? I mean, so much mind games, and you never want to like use those big water moves when you have a Gastrodon in the back, or a potential Gastrodon in the back. But I still think it's a really like doable matchup with the Power Whip. It just really deals the big damage to it. So I think actually kind of would say it's leaning towards good because you just destroy it with Power Whip. But at the same time, I think I must put it into neutral because the whole team preview and the mind games really takes away from the water moves. So yeah, I think neutral is right. I see you're looking surprised there, or what are you thinking?
Well, to be honest, I think I was leaning definitely towards weak. And obviously, you know, on paper, it's very obvious. The Storm Drain, Water Move, oh, it's so good. And then, but you have the Power Whip. So then that brings it back to neutral or even good.
Yeah. Just because of the Power Whip, it's all right. It's neutral. Good is the overstatement, definitely. But I would say neutral is...
Yeah. But the thing is like, on the field, perhaps
Yeah,
you're
on the
fine
field,
against Gastrodon.
Gastrodon.
But
Yeah, I mean, on the field, Gastro is not scary at all. It's scary when it's not on the field.
Exactly. I think the matchup is so hard because of the thought of Gastrodon being in the back, you know?
Yeah, it's the mind games, definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I want this list, you know, as things that we want to really, really watch out for, I guess. Like, when we're building, we're going to come back to this list and we want answers to these Pokemon. So I almost think that, like, having Gastrodon on this list to come back to is pretty important.
I agree with that.
Okay, so I will put Gastrodon in here, and I definitely see the reasons why we are really strong against it. The fact that we can kill it, but it also just really makes us have to play in like a certain way the whole game.
Yeah, that sounds correct.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. So next, I think we're starting to get to the part where the list trickles into Pokemon that don't really like dominate the meta too hard, but I think the three Pokemon that we're going to talk about right now are Durant, Lapras. I think Picolytics is wrong. I think Gmax Lapras is way higher than this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I think I want to talk about Durant, Lapras, and then Arcanine. So we'll start with Durant first. And so Durant, as you guys know, Hustle, Dynamax, it's super, super strong, and it outspeeds Gyarados, but it doesn't outspeed Raichu. So to be honest, I think if you are Intimidate Gyarados, the matchup's better. But personally, we're going to talk about it a little later, but I think we need to kind of be Moxie in this meta. But, yeah, I would say that the Durant matchup is probably neutral. I don't see it being a super weak or super strong in either favor.
I agree with that. Like, the most scary thing is that it can just deal so much damage to you, but at the same time, if you can like nuzzle it down and cripple it with Intimidate and stuff, it's a lot less scary. So I would say it's neutral.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And then next we have Lapras. So guys, obviously on paper, Lapras does have Freeze Drive, but Lapras wants to Gigantamax as soon as possible. So to be honest, like, I'm going to go out and say that I think the matchup is probably strong just because when it Gigantamaxes and it's sitting there, it can't really hit Gyarados, and I think that gives Gyarados a lot of time to like set up or poke holes in the enemy team.
That's true. because that's like one of my big critiques of Lapras. It can be very passive at times because it doesn't like deal a lot of damage.
Uh-huh.
So if you like, you can definitely like just let it stay there and do its thing while you kill the rest of the team with Gyarados. So I agree it's strong.
And then as Alca has had a lot of success with Brick Break in the past, I think it makes it even that much better against Lapras too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Big for help.
Cool. And then the last Pokemon I think I do want to talk about is Arcanine. So, guys, Arcanine has been quite popular. I think a lot of people, underestimated how popular Arcanine was going to be just because they thought Incineroar would really
Arcanine is good.
blow it away. But to be honest, I think I'm not going to say it's exactly strong just yet, but I think Gyarados is better against Arcanine than it is against Incineroar, just because the Fake Out is really scary, but I guess it is a fast Will-O-Wisp. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. You can just... It's less bulky than Incineroar, so you can kill it easily. And also the whole Fake Out thing, like you said. But I also think like the fast Will-O-Wisp is really bad, because it's like a lot faster than a Gyarados. So unless you like get a Fake Out with Raichu or Nuzlocke or something, it can be tough to deal with, especially if I like cycle the Intimidate and stuff. So I don't think it's good just because of what I said, but I also think it's not bad at all. I think it's neutral.
Yeah, I think just the ability to shuffle Intimidate makes it that much harder. So I definitely agree with Arcanine being in neutral. I would say it's a little easier than Incineroar, but it's still in the neutral.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, alrighty, guys, we just went over all the popular Pokemon and kind of went over how we think Gyarados and Raichu fare against it. So, in conclusion, we think that we are strong versus Excadrill, Venusaur, Conkeldurr, Milotic, Grimmsnarl, and Lapras. And then we'd say Gyarados and Raichu are weak to Dragapult, Tyranitar, Rhyperior, Duraludon, Dusclops, kind of hard Trick Room as a whole, and Gastrodon. So, guys, that was pretty cool. That will be wrapping up our first episode. And then next time, guys, I think we're going to be going over common EV spreads. Alca's going to have a lot of talking to do in that episode where he's going to be talking about all of his experience with EV spreads and Gyarados. And then I think we are going to also kick it off with our opinions of what we personally think Gyarados and Raichu are going to need in this meta right now. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. And Alca, how about you say bye too?
Goodbye, people. Good night.
Alrighty, well, so guys, we will see you back in the next episode where we're gonna really start fleshing out this team. So thanks for watching, guys, and peace.